Hey guys, how you doing? This is Tony Tone, the chess salsero. Guys, today this is a long-awaited video I've been wanting to do for a long time. I'm going to show you some cool advanced tactics. I have beginners tactics on my channel. I have intermediate tactics, but I want to show some advanced tactics, guys. And I chose 5 different tactics today that I want to go over so you can see how cool these are. And that's the exchange sacrifice, a clearance sacrifice, overloading, interference, and under promotion, which is really cool. So we're going to start with under promotion first. We're going to click on this baby here, and then we're going to analyze this. I'm going to go through it. So this is a very quick example. This is really cool. So most of the time, guys, when a pawn reaches the opponent's first rank or your last rank, um, it's great. It's like you're playing football and they reach touchdown, right? So typically, what most people do here, they can choose a queen, a knight, a rook, or a bishop. Most people, almost 99.9% of all people, in almost every position, choose a queen. Well, in this case, we're going to under promote because it's an advantage for us um, versus getting a queen. So an under promotion basically means you choose something less than a queen, a rook, a knight, or a bishop. So let's see if we choose a queen, what happens here? It's white's turn, makes a queen, and this is a draw. Why? Like it already says you're half and half. Why? Because this is a stalemate. I'm not in check, I'm not under attack, but I can't move here, I can't move here, I can't move here, I can't move here, I can't move here because it's all under attack, but I can't stay on the H7 square. I have to move somewhere, but I have no legal moves. This is a stalemate. So in this case, promoting to a queen is not good at all because you're gonna lose. You're not gonna lose the game, but you're not gonna win it. So it's a draw, and it's kind of a moral victory for your opponent, who is really, in a horrible position here, and he pulls off a draw. So in this case, we're actually going to under promote not to a knight, but to a rook. Because if I under promote to a knight, it's harder to checkmate him, right? But if I under promote or a bishop even, it's hard. There's no mate. So the best one is the rook. Why is it the rook? I'm going to show you why here. Because if you know endgame play, endgame technique, this is going to take a little longer to checkmate him, but at least you can checkmate the king with a rook and the king, right? So how are we going to do this? The first thing we're going to do here is after the promotion, the king is going to go to G7, right? Remember, he's trying to survive. So he's going to attack the rook, right? Now the rook is going to go right here to F5. So after that, remember, the king is in survival mode. He cannot go here, 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 or here, or here. He has to go here, here, or here. So let's say he chooses, he goes back to H7, right? I'm going to find a way to do what's called a mating net, where I'm not going to let him out of this corner here. I'm going to keep him suffocated in here until I finally checkmate him. But you have to know what to do in this position, guys. You can't just get the rook and then don't know what to do, and then you're in trouble. So he goes to king h7. I'm going to bring the king over here to g5 to protect the rook. He has to shuffle back to king g7. Remember, he doesn't want the rook coming here so he can attack it, right? And remember, two kings cannot get close to each other at all because they cannot legally put each other in check or under attack. So now the rook, after he moves the king to g7, the rook is going to go to, let me see, f6, which brings the king back. He's going to shuffle his pieces to h7, right? Now the rook is going to check the king on f7. This is the check. The king can't move here, can't move here, can't stay here, and it cannot move here. It can only move here or here. So what is the king going to do? The king will move to, let's say he moves here to g8. What do? I'm going to move the king here to protect my rook. And look what I'm doing, guys. I'm enclosing this king in this little area. So he has no choice here but to move now to the only square. He can't go here. He can't take. He can't go here. He can't go here. He can only go to h8. And then my next move, boom, is what is that? That's checkmate. He can't go here. He can't go here. He can't go here. He can't stay here. This is checkmate because I cover all squares. So if we go back, look what happens here. Boom, boom, boom. All he can do is shuffle pieces back while I enclose and boom, checkmate. So that's, in this particular case, this under promotion, which is rare, and it's an exception to the rule, actually was an advantage for you to save the game from being a draw, and then eventually you checkmated your opponent. So that's one. That's under promotion, guys. Let's go to another one here. We're going to go to interference, right? We're going to open this baby up. This is a really cool one as well. So what is interference? Interference is when you disrupt your opponent's coordinated pieces by sacrificing one of your own. Interference sacrifices occur when you sacrifice a piece to block a defender from guarding a key point. Like you want to block a critical square, disconnecting the defense. So what the hell does all that mean, right? Again, this is advanced tactics. So look at this position here. If you look at this bishop and this queen right here, look at this. It lines up to checkmate the king right here on h7. So this queen is here guarding this square. If this queen was not here, let's say it was over here somewhere, he's in trouble. He's going to get mated right here on h7, right? So what does the white have to do to pull off a checkmate here? Now, if we look at the pieces here, we have two rooks. I have two rooks. I have a queen. He has a queen. He has a bishop. I have a bishop. We're even in material. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 pawns. He has 1, 2, 3, 4 pawns. But his king is in a really in a situation where it's not good for him. I also have an open king, open space in my king, but it's my turn here, and I have a beautiful battery right here heading into his thing. So how can I pull off this checkmate? Watch how cool this is. I'm going to interfere with his defense by bringing the rook, boom, right here. So he can no longer guard the h6 square. So he has a choice here. He either sacrifices the queen or he takes the rook. Let's go through each scenario. Either way, this is a beautiful interference that blocks the defense of the queen of the mating square. This is an advanced tactic that's hard to spot. This is why they call them advanced tactics. So watch this. If he takes the rook with the pawn, bam, checkmate. See the little hashtag right here, little number sign symbol? Checkmate. Well, let's say he sacks the queen. Well, of course, I'm going to take the queen. And now what he does is he blocks this right here. So I can't mate him on h7. But what do I do instead? Bam. Look at this. I check him right here on the long diagonal. This is a beautiful long. If you can control any long diagonal, light square, dark square, that's a major advantage, guys, especially heading into an end game where you have rooks and queens. So the mating square is no longer on h6. It's now on g7. So if he moves here, let's say he moves here, bam, checkmate. If he moves here, bam, checkmate. He's screwed. Either way, he's done. All because of the interference that happened right here. Bam. Beautiful move. Exclam, which means it's a brilliant move. And that's it for black. All right, guys. So let's go to the third advanced tactic called overloading. This is a really cool one as well. Let me open this up. What is overloading? When your pieces are not good at defending more than one thing at the same time. You want to overload a piece like for example, you want to make it defend many things. So if a piece is defending too many things, it's overloaded, and the opponent can often distract the defender and win material or even mate. So in this case, let's go here. Look at this right here. It is white's move. The checkmate square is right here. If the queen moves here to h2, it would be mate if this knight were not defending it, right? So it is white's turn. On top of that, this knight could hop right here into f2 and fork the king and the queen, winning major material, and the opponent would probably resign right here, which is horrible. Okay, so how can we overload this knight so we can check this king right here, right? Or even remove the defender, the knight, which defends a critical h2 square, which is the mating square. So it's white's move. This is a potential back rank mate. Look what I do here. Bam! The queen comes to a4 and attacks the rook on e8, right? That would be mate if he doesn't move this rook, and I can take it. Black has to do something here. He can't just leave this here. So what do? What does black do? Bam! This would be a back rank mate if it wasn't for the knight guarding the square. But what happens is this knight is overloaded. Why? He has to defend this square and this pawn and stop this rook at the same time. It's impossible. So even if he takes this, this is checkmate, right? Let's say he blocks it right here, so he's no longer check. This is still checkmate. Do you see what happened here, guys? This knight is overloaded. He has too many defenses. He's guarding too many things. It's just bad. And so therefore, the black army wins this game. We go back. Watch this. Boom! I attack. He gets out the way. He checks. He takes. Checkmate. If he doesn't take, he guards. It's still mate. All because the knight was overloaded by defending too many things. All right, that's overloading. Let's go to another one called a clearance sacrifice, which is super cool as well. Another advanced tactic here, and this one I like a lot. What is a clear sacrifice? A clear sacrifice is when you sacrifice a piece simply to get it out of the way of your other pieces. Often these sacrifices will gain time and give you a big time attack. So in this case, I want you to see this right here. So if this bishop wasn't here and it was white's turn, I could simply move here with the queen on h7, and that would be checkmate, right? It's white's turn. What am I going to do? If the bishop moves out the way and goes like this, he gets the free rook. If the knight moves out of the way, the rook, sorry, he gets a free bishop. I could come here. This would still be bad for him. He would go here. But this would be it would take me longer to checkmate him. And now, look at this. I'm down material. I only have a rook and a queen versus 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces and a potential back rank mate. So this is all bad. So how do we pull this off? Watch this. This is hard to spot, guys. Watch this. Even if I move this here, he gets a free rook. So look what I do instead. Bam, I bring the bishop here because if he takes the bishop, this is checkmate, right? If he takes the rook, look what I do here. Look at the lineup, geometry. Bam, I take the pawn on f6. He can go nowhere other than back here to g7, and then bam, g7 checkmate. See what happened there? Guys, this is hard to spot when you're playing a timed game, blitz, bullets, rapid, whatever, and you got to move quick. And this is a really cool clearance sacrifice in a tough position here. And I'm actually down 1, 2. I have 3 pieces. He has 1, 2, 3, 4. But he has an exposed king, an unsafe king versus mine, which is safer. And none of these queens and rooks could get in. Why? Because they're all blockaded by pawns. And it's my turn. So this is beautiful. Bam, bam, mate. If he doesn't take it, oops, sorry. Here he takes the rook. Bam, bam, mate. Beautiful. So let's go to our final one called an exchange sacrifice, guys. This is a really cool one as well. An exchange sacrifice basically means, guys, that you sacrifice a rook for a minor piece. And most common good sacrifices in an exchange sacrifice is when two pawns or a positional advantage is often sufficient compensation for the exchange. So the only reason you're giving up a rook for a minor piece is, number one, it's an exception to the rule, but you're going to get something more out of it. So in this position here, this is again a tough position. It's hard to spot, but this rook is over here doing nothing, although he is guarding the back rank, which is good. If how do you say, if it's black's turn to move here, and he moves the rook here on the battery, this will be cool. But you want to take advantage of a situation now. So, for example, let me see this. Sorry, let's move this here. Oops, sorry. Let's move this. Let's say this was here. Sorry. Let's say this is the starting position, and now it's black's turn to move, right? For whatever reason, I don't know how the game proceeded. I don't know how the game started, but this is how things were right now. Now it's black's turn to move. So let's watch this. I already see, if you line up geometry, the bishop with the queen, this is a checkmate right here. And then on A1 is the actual checkmate, right? Because the king would have to move here, and then this would be mate. Now, what guards this square? The knight guards this square on A2. If I were to take this, he would take me back, and then he reguards this. And let's say I take him here to remove that defender. He wouldn't take me here. He would take with the queen, challenging my queen. So even if I take him here with an eventual checkmate, what I think it was, he moves here, then I move here. He has an escape square here on D2. So he could move out the way. Now it's a counterattack. It's a tempo for him. I lose time. I got to waste time moving my queen back. So all of that, this exchange sacrifice failed. It didn't work out for me. Why? I'll tell you why. Because this knight is key here. It defends this knight, which puts another knight on the key C3 square to defend this pawn. So what do I have to do? Watch what I do here, guys. I take this knight, bam, and I hop in here and I sacrifice this knight. I'm attacking his rook and his knight right here, but I'm sacrificing this knight on G3. I'm giving it up. Why? Because I see a potential checkmate right here along the A file. Now, he has a decision. He can either move the rook or take the knight. Either way, I'm going to take this knight so it doesn't defend this knight so I can get in here. So let's say he moves the rook. I take, right? Now, if he takes with the queen, I sacrifice this. He takes me here. I hit him here. He goes here. And then, bam, I get this. Now he has no escape square. He can't do anything here. He can move this out the way. He can move the queen here. Whatever he does, I'm mating him right here on A1. So if we go back, all that happened because I removed his knight on E2. Now watch this. If he takes with the knight, sorry. If he takes, where am I going here? I move here, right. I'm still going to take him. If he takes with the knight, I come in here. Sorry. Let's go back here. Sorry. I take the knight. He takes. Now I take this knight. Now, he could not take it, and he could stay where he's at and move this up. But he's down in material. Now he just gave me a knight for free. So I'm up. I'm up a whole piece, and then it's going to be harder for him to win the game. So look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 versus 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, It'll take me longer to mate him, but the point is I'm up a knight, which is a mega advantage for me. Let's say he does this. Again, I'm up too much material for him to continue the game to try to win. So in most cases, people resign here. So if we go to the beginning here, the goal is to get rid of this knight, which protects this knight, so I could come here and get this pawn and then an eventual mate. Again, this is an exchange sacrifice. It also is called removing the defender. Another advanced tactic is kind of, combination tactics. And that's all pulled off because I first sacrifice my knight to remove this knight to stop defending this knight to get in here. So look at that. Oops, sorry. I go here. He takes. I take. He cannot take me here. Why? Because he'll lose his queen to the bishop. So if he takes, bam, bam, mate. In either scenario, guys, he loses the game. So again, I move in here. Let's say he attacks me. I still take the knight. He takes with the queen. I take. He takes. I hit. He moves out the way. I pick up a free pawn. He has no escape squares, and then there's an eventual mate here. So, all right, guys, that is the exchange sacrifice. There are a million different types of examples. That's just one cool one in this very advanced precision here. So I hope you learned, guys, a lot there. I showed you 5 different advanced tactics: under promotion, interference, overloading, clearance sacrifice, and exchange sacrifice. This is not for beginners, guys. Beginners, you can watch this. It's really cool to see and all that, but you have to understand what you're doing to be able to pull off these tactics, in these types of situations. So, guys, I hope you enjoyed this very much. If you're a beginner, go to my beginners playlist, study my beginners tactics. If you're intermediate, study the intermediate. If you're advanced, study the advanced, and just keep learning, guys. Get better on your chess journey through all this chess education. And I hope you enjoyed and you learned something. So, guys, that's it. This is Tony Tone, the Chess Salcedo. I am out. Peace.